Hey guys, I'm here to do a military life update. I haven't done one the whole time. Jeremy's been in the military. I've mentioned it here and there. Next month will be a year that he's been in. So I kind of want to talk about, the feelings of, me having to move states away from my family. And then, what's going on with Leon and how he's doing. So Jeremy joined last year in July. Well, he swore in March of last year, but he went to boot camp in July. I'm not going to mention his rate or anything because safety issues and all that. So, he'd done his time in boot camp, which was rough at first. I think the first week and a half, it was rough. Spent most of my time crying, even though, I had Leon to take care of, and I was still working at the time. So, I think after the first 2 weeks went by, it was a lot better, like, mental-wise for me, because, I was riding him every day. Literally, the first letter that I sent him was this thick, and it was like a book. But, that's just the way that he wanted me to communicate, and I wanted to communicate with him because it made me feel better. Writing every day about how our day was, if anything had happened, like our car windshield actually needed to be replaced while he was in boot camp. And, I was freaking out about it because I needed to talk to him about and see what he wanted to do, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, I was writing every day to him then. I got my first phone call when I was at Chick-fil-A eating with a friend, and it was amazing to hear from him. Okay, so when he graduated, we went to Illinois, which was one of the worst drives ever. It was a 13-hour drive from Georgia to Chicago, or not Chicago, but Great Lakes. And so that drive with a less than 2-year-old was very interesting. But my parents went with me. And me and my dad went to his graduation. And when we seen each other for the first time after he graduated, he started crying. I was like, look, don't do that. I don't want to cry. I was like, we're here together now, and that's what matters. Just don't cry. Don't cry. So he stopped himself from crying. We went and ate pizza, which is what he wanted since we were in Illinois. Let's see. Sorry, I thought that was Jeremy pulling up. So we took him back to base, and then they flew out from the Chicago airport, or one of the airports. I met him there at 1 o'clock and stayed with him until he got to actually boarding his flight, and my mom and dad kept Leon at the hotel. So he flew off to where he was going to be for the next whatever amount of time for training, and which sucked because I wanted him to come home and spend some time with him. And then he called me and told me that he wasn't going to be able to come back to move us, and that upset me a lot because, that was the whole plan. They were going to let him come back, and then we were going to move all of our stuff where they needed to be. After he kept talking to him, they finally let him fly to Atlanta, and his brother picked him up from there and brought him back home, and we had to have everything like packed in our car that we were taking with us. in 2 days, or less than 2 days actually. And then we went to where we were being stationed at for his training, and the moving people didn't come until I think the week after, so my mom had to be there. They left my house trashed, and if we wouldn't have been, if we wouldn't have went back and seen the way that the house was left, that would have looked bad on us. If we would have ever tried to rent from somebody again, that would have looked horrible on us. I mean, they did number 2 in the toilet, and then knowing the water and power were cut off in the house, they did number 2 in the toilet, couldn't get it to flush, so they shoved toilet paper on top of it, and it was left there for weeks. They had left a lot of stuff there, my son's mattress, computer tower, we didn't have a good experience with the moving people. And I made sure to report them, and they told me that they let those people go in that company. Anyways, we got here. I mean, it's not a bad place here, but it's not home. I mean, we're not 10 minutes away from my parents anymore. But I think the person who's I've had my moments to where, I broke down one day and I called my mom. I said, I just want to be home and, be with you guys. And of course that made her cry because I was crying, but what can you do? So I've had my days. We went back for Christmas, so that was easier. And we just recently went back for my husband's 4-day weekend. We spent 2 days there. But Leon, I think, is the one who's having the hardest transition to not being around people that we know. He has an issue with, I'm not going to say separation. I mean, of course he has separation problems. He's always had that. To where, him and Jeremy went to the grocery store one day and he screamed for me. Because he has this thought in his mind that when people leave, they're not coming back. Because he doesn't see my parents or my sister and her kids and her husband like he did. They were over multiple times a week. And it's hard on him. And I don't know how to help him. We try to explain to him, we're just in a different state than they are. They haven't gone away. It'll be a little bit before we can see them again, but, they still love us. And we try to talk to him as much as we can, FaceTime and all that. Try to help him. But he still has this issue. And every time he sees kids, he wants somebody to play with so bad. Which is 100% why I'm happy, that we're having another kid right now, because he needs this. Maybe that was God's plan, because he knows that Leon needs this. We, earlier this year, I went and finally met the neighbors at the beginning of the road, and, they have a little kid, and Leon's gotten attached to him, and they're fixing to leave, because they're being separated. So, it sucks for me too, because, we've gotten, I'm not going to say like best friend, not best friend, like, they're great people. And, she brought me cookies today, knowing that, I don't feel good, like, leg-wise, I can't really walk, and, I've been craving cookies this pregnancy, so she brought me some cookies. And, it's blooming into a beautiful friendship. And they're going to move. And Leon was screaming last night to play with their son. But it was dark outside. We couldn't go over to their house. It was bedtime. And he screamed about it. And I don't know how I'm going to explain it to him when he moves. That's like the worst thing about the military, especially when you have kids, is they're being ripped back and forth. I don't know how school's going to go when Leon hits school age. If I'm going to homeschool him or try school on base, or just, I guess it depends on where we end up. Let's see. Jeremy's doing good. He's in his second stage of training right now. I don't see him but maybe 4 hours a day. Then he goes to sleep. But so far he's doing really good in school. And we're just awaiting, you know, Flynn's arrival now. And so it's been a little rough on all of us, and Jeremy feels guilty for the way that, you know, Leon's been feeling, because, you know, he's the one that signed up, and he's the one, or he's the reason that we had to move, and, you know, all this. But he's doing what he feels is best for the family, and I'm going to support him 100%, no matter what. I mean, he's my husband. I love him to death. Some people still deem him as immature and, you know, a little child, and he has done so much growing up over the last 5 years that we've been together, and the last 3 years we've been married, which I can say our little guy's due date is on our both wedding anniversary and regular anniversary, because we got married on the same date that we got together. But I think that is it as far as, you know, how I've been coping, how Leon's been coping, and how Jeremy's doing. If you guys have any questions about anything, let me know, and I'll answer to the best of my knowledge without giving out, you know, personal information that we shouldn't be giving out. I guess that's it for this video, and if you guys want to see more about, you know, pregnancy, military, just birth, or, you know, life in general here, subscribe, stick around, and we will see you guys in our next video. Bye.